Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa of the All Progressives Congress, APC, was on Sunday declared winner of the governorship election in Ondo State. He was announced winner by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, with a poll of a total of 366,781 votes over his closest rival, PDP's Agbola Ajayi, who polled 117,845 votes. The APC clinched victory in all 18 local government areas of the state. The results were announced by the coalition officer, Professor Olayemi Akinwumi, at INEC's state headquarters in Akure. Former country director of Action Aid Nigeria, Ene Obi, joins us to review the conduct of the Ondo State governorship election and the declaration of APC's Aiyedatiwa as winner. We're wondering if there's any improvement compared to Edo State election last month, and we'll be having that discussion with her. Good afternoon, and many thanks for joining us here on Newsday.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
It's always great to have you. Thank you so much. Now, of course, we've seen, you saw how things played out on Saturday with the various claims, some clinching to victory, some mention of vote buying, some mention of voter turnout. From your perspective, can you let us know what you observed? Yeah,
from the point of the Nigerian Civil Society Situation Room, which I was a convener and still a member of the steering committee, we went to Edo and to Ondo, and a situation room was opened. Saw an election that lacks one from Edo, because you know, as at the time we got down on Friday, we saw that the INEC office was quite relaxed. We visited the rec, relaxed because they said their planning had been 3 weeks ago. You know, they had done their distribution, and things were going very smooth at the racks and the other departments. We saw smooth movement of vehicles. We also tried to visit agencies. We paid a visit to the headquarters of the service, where we saw the for election, and the force headquarters in were also visit the civil defense of others. You know, agencies. Ours is look at the readiness. The agency.
Well, we appear to be having some trouble.
National security, you know.
Hearing you, and
okay.
I think
can
we're
you
going
hear
to take
me now?
Yes, we can, but I think we'll just take a moment to make sure that everything's peachy. Take a quick break and come back to you, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have on the line former country director of Action Aid Nigeria, Ene Obi. And thank you for your patience. You were giving us your take, what you observed in the recently concluded Ondo state elections, and we were struggling to hear you, but please go on with your assessment.
Okay, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay. You know, some of the things I was talking about security, there was the readiness of the security, and on election day, the deployment, as at 8:30 in the morning, the observers that we deployed, you know, had about 84% of the polling units were opened, and also the presence of the security people were there. You know, the police, the civil defense, and other security agencies were there. You know, and one of the things that was quite rearing its head again for us is the vote trading. there was a lot of vote trading. We did see that people had gone, there was a lot of campaigning, though the campaign started late, so to say, because Nigerian politicians, many of them don't seem to take a campaign too seriously because of they're trusting, the issues of vote buying. We saw vote trading openly, in so many polling units, openly because, even where you have the presence of security, you see vote trading going on and nobody is interfering. And that is what we're still wondering, how this can be sorted out. Yes, the INEC, one of the things that is very clear is that it's INEC that can ask the security people. They are just almost like observers like us. Unless INEC tells you, because within 300 perimeters, it is when INEC tells you to intervene on issues that you can intervene. Even we as monitors, we only, as observers, we only observe and we come and report what we see, and we get reports from outside, because from all of the local governments we're receiving reports of either time of the opening of violence. About 22 cases of violence were reported across board, but it's a much relaxed election. The only thing that we can't get through is the vote buying, and all the parties were buying. All the political parties were really conducting, were doing vote trading. Nobody can claim, in one of the polling units, I think in Ifedore, Ward 16 or so, we had somebody was paying about 5,000, another one was paying 3,000. They were increasing and they were competing with each other. When they saw that one person was bigger than the other, they shattered the ballot box itself. And in many places, you were seeing aiding and abetting itself. You were seeing the party agents. What we saw also is that many of the political parties that are on the ballot box, they had no party agents. It was mostly between PDP and APC that you had party agents at the polling units. It's like all the other parties feel their presence are not necessary. And if you look at the distribution of party agents, because we have to be serious, if you're a political party and you are registered and your name is on the ballot box, the onus lies on you to be able to produce, party agents. We are not serious about all of that. Out of more than 74,000 party agents that were supposed to be there, we had only about 24,000. But in most of the political parties, in most of the polling units that were visited, only 2 political parties were present. And the vote trading is still rearing its head. Why is it that? Because bribing is a criminal offense. Why can the police be seeing that and not being able to venture? And they tell you is an electoral act, is a way, the control that is being given to INEC, they cannot interfere. I think we need to go back to the drawing board. Another thing that we have to come out with is, in this election, you have more than 2 million people, registered voters. And one will expect that there will be massive voter turnout. But many people, much as money was being offered, many people did not turn out. Why are they not turning out? Because people are frustrated. They are voting. Their votes are not counting, except those who feel, because we are operating at a time when there is so much poverty in the land. So voters' inducement is very, 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 very common, and some people can be bought over. But we still have many who refuse to collect that money and vote. And in some cases, too, some people collected the money, they want to vote. But where you have the voting cubicle is a bit exposed, and so they cannot, there is no protection of the independence of the cubicle itself. So a lot is going on. And we hope that, yes, somebody has been declared. There is always a winner. From the civil society point, we are not bothered about who wins, because all these are citizens of Ondo State. But let the process be free and fair. If you have done all your campaigning, allow people to queue and do the voting. And so voter apathy continues, and it is indeed very frustrating.
Indeed. Let's just say a bit more on that issue of voter apathy, because we saw the governor of Ondo State raising some concerns regarding this issue, saying that the low voter turnout is really appalling. And he also advised that some form of awareness, sensitization should be done to ensure that, you know, the electorate are aware of their duties when it comes to electing their leaders. Do you see this as the way to go, or do you think there is a deeper issue that needs to be addressed?
There is a failure of the political parties conducting voter education. It is the responsibility of the political parties to conduct voter education to even their members, to ask them to come out and vote. There is a lot of claim that one political party claims we have maybe 40 million, others say we have 30 million, and so on and so forth. Up until this moment, we do not have a clear voter register. I think INEC has been complaining of that. And so if you don't have a voter register, why are you registered to contest? You know, it's shocking to see that. They don't have voter registers. And so who are their members? They are not conducting political education. Also, is on the part of INEC. INEC ought to conduct political education. We have the civic education unit, or is it the political education unit, the general environment where they are supposed to produce materials and do sensitization of citizens. But has that been done? Go to the records and you see that it's not been done. Political parties only come out when they are, you know, it's time for them to go for campaigns. That's not the essence. And I think the new IPAC, I hope that they'll be able to raise, they've started with some education already to educate their members. What we are talking about is civic duty. There is a lot of responsibility for Nigerians. At one point, civic education was taken from our curriculum. Now we need to look at the civic duty, the civic responsibility of every individual. Whether you are even in the police force, we are in the army, or in the armed forces, and so on and so forth. Each and every one of you ought to be responsible because you are all citizens. I think the governor was addressing and talking about, you know, the fact that they campaign so much, and so they are the choice. Yes, we appreciate that. All the other political parties, you say you did campaign. Why not leave people freely to contest? You know, why not go and test your popularity with the people? You are offering money and people are not coming out because they feel their votes don't count. You know, and so we are going to live with this, but this cannot continue. The kind of, we are conducting election, we know the pitfalls, and we are still continuing it. Well we have to change the style or change the strategy. Absolutely,
well said, and it's really unfortunate that so many negative observations were made. But I'd like to also do a bit of comparison. When you compare what you witnessed in Ondo State to what you saw in Edo State, how did it differ in terms of whether it was security deployment patterns and the likes? What was the difference or the similarities that you observed?
The tension that was in Edo is not the same tension that you had in Ondo. You know, Ondo was much more relaxed. Even the security agents, you know, will testify to that. We had visits from the first PRO and also civil defense into the situation room while we were there, you know, to let us know what they are doing and also to give us their own numbers to raise alert. You know, I think security-wise, it was well covered. We had so many commissioners of police that were deployed. You know, we had a DIG there for the election. We also had an AIG who was on ground. So the security was very, very ready. And I think they had more things in hold. But you can look at the competition or the comparison, the volatility of the nature of before the election and then during the election. It wasn't as much. The election, one can say, generally we can say it was peaceful. There were just few cases of sporadic you know, gunshots and by some party agents who wanted their party to be voted for. But with the intervention of the security agencies, that they were not, you know, those areas were neutralized. You know, so I think, you know, we commend, you know, the security agencies, INEC for his arrangement too. You know, some cases were reported, the beavers, you know, performed with a maximum of 3 minutes. Some of it within one point something minutes, and the beavers accreditation and things went on. Where the beavers failed, there was a turnaround. You know, we were able to report, to raise alert, you know, alarm, and we had the thing is that stakeholders were connected and could easily report what was happening If there is any danger anywhere, or if there is any even malfunctioning of the beavers, we were able to report it. A few cases of a report of some people not being accredited because their facials were not recognized, you know, they were very, very few. So it was a much peaceful, you know, election than down to the collation itself. We're worried about the collation time and the period itself, but things were much more peaceful.
You took the words right out of my mouth, because I was going to talk about the issue with the beavers in some areas where they complain about the slowness of the beavers, but you already tackled that. I'd like to know if you foresee any litigations following these elections, as we always see in most of our elections in the country.
Nigeria, you know, there is always litigation. Those who feel wounded, but it's a governorship election. It's not like the others, you know, where you have to conduct all the other elections alongside with it. So it depends on who is feeling hurt. And like INEC will always say, go to court. But we want to see more of our elections being pronounced by INEC, because INEC is the body that is assigned to pronounce elections, not the way we have brutalized, you know, the judiciary. By making judiciary, we are not giving money for elections to the judiciary, but we're taking a lot of things are going to the judiciary and messing up the judiciary itself. So whether litigations are there, they should have their facts. And one of the things, if you have your facts, if you have your agents, and you think the results that is being pronounced, you know, is not the right result, you know, then you have to go. But where you see vote trading openly by all the political parties, what are you going to attest to? Did you participate or did you not participate? We also saw volumes of money moving. You know, I remember one of the taxi person that took us from the airport said somebody carried sacks of money in his, you know, in his car, the previous flight to us, and they gave him more money than he needed, you know, than he asked for. Gave him triple the money that he asked for, because he had to take the person to somewhere and all of that. And so a lot of things will come out, but all of them were doing vote trading. How do we secure it? We had in Oshun, for example, we had more EFCC presence, you know, to see where vote trading and some arrests were made. Though we don't have any corporate, at least we don't have any pronounced people who have been taken to court, and whatever has happened, happened. But we like to see those who are responsible. We can't continue without sanctions. We cannot continue the kind of insanity that we put in our levels. But, you know, the contest was not too huge for competition. So it was a peaceful election.
Well, we'd like to thank you for your analysis, as always, Ene Obi, former Country Director of Action Aid Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us here on News.